goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out.
Resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on a battlefield. A survivor, never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shade. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked. No victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat on my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at Click It RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
10 years of speed. 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series for round number 2 of the 2024 B schedule here from St. Louis, Missouri, just outside here in Madison, Illinois, where we're getting ready to wrap up practice and going to qualifying. I'm Jason Rockfeld. Joined alongside me in the booth tonight is FTSR's very own, who hates the next gen just as much as I hate calling races on Mondays with Charles Wooten, Brody Hanna, and obviously Charles Wooten up here in the booth with us pressing all the buttons. Brody, welcome back. I think the last race we called together was Dover last season, and we're ready to go here at Gateway. We saw a fantastic race on Wednesday night for the Truck Series. We had one hell of a finish. What do you think we're going to expect here tonight with this next-gen car?
Yes, it has been a while, and if we have a race like we had at Dover that night, we're in for a treat. I'm telling you, Jason, it's great to be up here tonight, and we're looking forward to a great race here. I think this track really fits the next gen well, as much as I do hate it, like you said. It does fit this car very well because there is a lot of shifting. There's a lot of difference between 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4. A lot going on for these drivers, and they're going to be busy tonight. We're going to be busy tonight covering all the action, I think, out here on the track.
And if you caught yesterday's Cup Series race from Worldwide Technology Raceway, as it's formerly known now at the time being, where most people consider it still as Gateway, obviously, my guy, unfortunately, ran out of fuel. Somehow we didn't pack enough of it. Ryan Blaney ran out of fuel coming to the white flag. Austin Cindric was able to pick up his second career win, yet again at the expense of Ryan Blaney. But practice just wrapped up. Real quickly, before we get going with qualifying, let's take a look real quick at the race information for tonight's event here at Gateway. Remember, no fast repair is always 100% full fuel. 4 sets of tires compared to 5 from last season in 2024A. 3 green-white checkered attempts if need be. And 160-lap race, and compared to the 3 stages we had last season, only 1 stage break will be at the completion of lap number 40. And Brody, what went on? Obviously, I know you're, a lot of behind the scenes here with FTSR, being one of the admins and such. What went on, to obviously making those decisions going in for 2024B and for obviously the rest of 2024 with, the tires and obviously the stage breaks?
So we took a lot of feedback from the guys. We had looked at the points as kind of how they filled out. We wanted to try with 2 stages. Unfortunately, we felt that it just broke the race up a little too much. There was a little too much going on. We felt it kind of also led to a little more aggressive driving. We feel like with 1 stage, it's a good balance of having a stage, but not piling the stages in. It fits well with the points, but also kind of with the race. So you have the 1 stage, the 1 reset, if you will, for some of the guys. And so with that, reducing in 1 stage, we also took 1 set of tires away because the extra set of tires actually was added for the 2nd stage because we have 2 brakes that are set for sure. So just listening to the guys, a lot of feedback. We wanted to keep the stages, but reverted back to 1, and we just feel like the race balances out well that way. It keeps a long run at the end of the race.
Yeah, and it definitely should be an interesting one here for sure, because obviously the Truck Series was able to make those same rules apply for 2024 and going forward. And obviously qualifying is already about halfway through right now. Nathan Bigart currently has the fast lap with a 34 flat, but this is the guy that everybody's got to watch here tonight. 1 year ago, I believe he sat on the pole, but besides that, led all 160 laps from Gateway and went on to win. And I feel like Richie Coy just kind of really likes these flatter tracks here, Brody. He's really good at Phoenix. He's good at Martinsville. He's good here. He's good at New Hampshire. I mean, in general, Richie Coy is pretty much good anywhere we go. But anytime we've gone to one of these flatter style racetracks, it just seems like it kind of fits Richie Coy's, style. I don't know if it's because, he races short tracks in real life or what, but it just kind of always seems to be his bread and butter.
Yeah, I feel like some of that also is, I've talked to him a good bit. And I feel like some of that is actual hardware that he has. He's able to manage his tires really well. That's one of his strengths, but also he's able to slow the car down, get the car turned, and do what it needs to do. It's not doing what he wanted it to do there, for sure. So he's going to be struggling here tonight, it looks like. But he's just really good at managing those tires, managing the run, knowing where to put the car. And I think that plays track position is big on some of these flatter tracks. And I think he's really good with managing when to push and when not to push at these kind of tracks.
And we'll have to see what Richie Coy can do here in the race, because right now, I mean, he is on the track. I believe he's going to try to set at least one more lap, and no, he will not. He will be off the track. So Richie Coy going to be starting deep in the field, the defending Gateway winner. Nathan Bigart, though, still holding the pole position over Nicholas Moreau. Welcome back to FTSR. In fact, there's a couple drivers in here who I have either not seen in a long time or drivers that you kind of saw from points, throughout 2024 so far and also 2023, but also some newcomers. Some of those drivers include Nicholas Moreau, welcome back. Jonathan Vachon, Randy Belk, welcome to FTSR. Matthew Vachon is back. Danny LaFleur, just to name a couple other guys. John Ross as well. Lots of drivers showing up here tonight at Gateway, Brody.
Yeah, starting to be season. We had some of the guys come back that have run with us before. Usually it's funny because usually in the summer months it's kind of tough with us. As far as membership, you start seeing people want to get outside and do things outside and stuff. But we were able to welcome back Nick and his team at Moreau Motorsports. Glad to have them back. They've always been really competitive, and so I look for them to be a factor. They were a factor last week, to be a factor this week as well. The competition is as stiff as ever here, so it makes winning one of these races even more impressive and more important for these guys, and they work hard for them too.
They definitely work hard for them, and there was nobody who worked harder than Jose Acosta 1 week ago. He is the defending week winner, obviously winning race number 1 for 2024B at Charlotte. Can he make it 2 in a row tonight? He's going to be starting inside the top 10. We're about to find out, but the field is getting ready to grid. Let's give you the starting lineup here tonight from St. Louis. Row number 1, you'll have Nathan Bigart leaving off pretty much right where he left off last season with the 2024A title there on the pole, alongside the man who's always fast in FTSR, Nicholas Moreau in the 77. Row number 2, you'll find Daniel Simmons and Jeff Chandler, who was last year's runner-up to Richie Coy there in the number 31 Victory Fuel Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Row number 3, you will find Ben Tracy, who has been qualifying excellently recently in the FTSR, and Joseph Grojava with a great qualifying effort there in the number 12 machine. Row number 4, you'll find Robert Tracy in the 14 machine, Jonathan Vachon coming back to FTSR in the 97, and to round out the top 10, Brody, row number 5, you'll find last week's winner from Charlotte, Jose Acosta, and Randy Belk, newcomer here for the Cup Series.
That's right. In row 6 on the inside, you're going to have Jake Orland, the number 15. To the outside of him, a guy you got to keep your eye on, the 48 of Jamie Knopf, who's going to be starting in row 6. Row 7 on the inside, you're going to have the 67 of James Wallace for Boomerang Motorsports. To the outside of him is another Vachon, Matthew Vachon, in the number 26 machine. Row 8, you're going to have another Moreau Motorsports entry, the 99 of Danny LaFleur. And to the outside of him is going to be the 51 of Bill Hull returning. Row 9, you're going to have the 42, Kyle Milliken. Watch for him. He's going to be quick early on. And Dave Nestor in the number 36 on the outside of row 9. Rounding out your top 20 is going to be the 47 of Ryan Hedrick for Boomerang and the number 20 of TJ Bartell for Wayne Grassi Racing.
Row number 11 here to round out the 31 car field. Tony Solari and Richie Coy, the two drivers from Fury Motorsports. Obviously, Richie being the defending Gateway winner. Row number 12, you'll find Brian Dublé alongside Sherwood Williford, who will be listed as the one on the scoring pylon, but still driving that 33 Mountain Dew machine that Dale Jr. used to drive in the Cup Series. Row 13, you'll find Josh Johnson, also John Ross in the number 21 to the outside. Row number 14, you will find Lane Allen and Wayne Grassi. Row number 15, you will find James Torrey and Michael Blackner. And rounding out the field in row 16, in the 31st spot, you will find Alan Crowell in the 54. Real quickly, let's take a look here at the weather conditions tonight, obviously presented by Kaufman Creative. 83 degrees here in the air, 113 degree track temp. Now, it's not as hot as it was on Wednesday night, but Brody, what do you expect with obviously the drastic difference between that 83 and 113?
Tires. Tires are going to be the talk of the town here tonight. You've got 4 sets of them in the pits to use, so you got to take care of them early here. We're going to have 1 stage break. These guys are going to be slipping and sliding around. It's going to be tough for them, but it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Pace car is about to duck down to pit lane, and we're about to see 31 of these high-speed NASCAR Next-Gen Cup cars get ready to rip here in FTSR. So the pace car hits pit lane. Drivers head down the front straightaway to the restart zone. The flagman's got the flag out in the air. Green flag is out. We're racing from St. Louis, and the 01 of Nathan Bigart gets out to a solid lead down into turns 1 and 2. But here comes Nicholas Moreau trying to make that outside work. The 06 of Simmons right there on the quarter panel. Everybody's shuffling off the corner. Couple drivers hitting the wall down off 2.
Turn 1 is going to be the trouble spot, 1 and 2. Coming off 2 is going to be really tough. It gets really tight off 2, but 3 and 4, it's a little more sweeping. These guys are going to have to figure out how to get their car to handle in both of these different types of corners. It looks like the 01 of Bigart's going to be able to be the first one to figure it out. He'll be leading lap 1 here at Gateway.
Already a lot of shuffling going up inside the top 10, seeing a lot of +1s and -1s throughout the leaderboard on our end here. There's the 29 machine of Randy Belk. You'll see him in the 33 Team Conti car on the racetrack here tonight with that wrap job. Everybody, though, double wide, single file down the back straightaway, and that turn 2, Brody, like you had mentioned, into 1 and then coming off 2. We saw a lot of drivers lose it on Wednesday night. They're really going to have to take care of those tires, like you mentioned, and not put the pressure down off the corner too much.
You see these guys all over the place coming out of turn 4. Like I said, really sweeping corner. Everybody's trying to figure out, okay, am I faster or slower than the guy in front? We need to get in some sort of a rhythm and kind of ride. And we see some of the guys up front starting to do that, starting to single file out. They know they've got to lap 40 before they get another break. So we're going to see how these guys kind of figure out what they've got. You see Daniel Simmons starting to put some pressure on the 01 of Bigart, trying to get to the front.
And you see Simmons all over the rear bumper of Nathan Bigart, and Daniel Simmons and Jamie Knopf, the 2 LA Motorsport drivers in 2024A, were very, very strong. Obviously, Daniel Simmons was not able to pick up a win in the A portion of the schedule. He would love to add that 1 win here in the Cup Series tonight at Gateway to his 2024 resume. You see Ben Tracy in the 35, new colors for him as well there in that yellow and black machine, the Chevy Camaro, as they come around turns 3 and 4. And a lot of drivers already shuffling throughout this field, as there is the number 12 of Joseph Rahava trying to defend a spot from the 14 of Rob Tracy, who's able to get around him.
Yeah, you got some newcomers up here. Some guys had some really good qualifying laps to see if they can stay up here and maintain that track position for those all-important stage points. You see the 24 there right behind these guys. That's going to be his name slipped my mind. Last week's winner, Jose Costa there in the 24. There you go. And he's having a good solid run, trying to work his way towards the front. Now, he started deep last week as well, or kind of mid-pack last week as well. Worked his way to the front and looked really dominant towards the end of the race. We'll see if he can do that again tonight.
And one driver who's already picked up a few spots, and in fact actually has the most spots gained. Yes, it might not be a lot, but still +4 is pretty good when you're the driver of Richie Coy, who started outside the top 20, had a poor qualifying effort, but 1 year ago he went on to lead all 160 laps here at Gateway. And Brody, that's the thing about this racetrack. I know we saw it obviously in the Cup Series yesterday night. The Truck Series, it's kind of a different scenario. You can't really compare the two just because they're 2 completely different chassis and the way that those cars handle compared to the next-gen cars. It is a very hard place to pass here, and I don't know if it's just because of the downshifting, the wider tires, not wearing as much. There's a lot that goes into, obviously, not being able to pass here at Gateway, but it's going to be really tough for these guys here tonight to do so.
There's a lot of reasons for that. One is the track just being kind of a narrow groove kind of track. Through 1 and 2, you'll see these guys mostly run between, you'll see 2 dark spots through 1 and 2. That's kind of where you want to put the car. You'll see these guys go in there between the 2 strips. Actually, looks like Daniel's above them, but you see him come down in between those 2 strips. That's where you want that's the ideal place for the car. Anywhere else, you kind of have issues exiting the corner. And then 3 and 4 is just a sweeping corner. You see these guys go into the corner. You hug the bottom. You know, there's not much additional banking up there, so everybody's just in one groove. That makes it hard to pass. And then you add in the shifting, the tires, the lower horsepower in these cars. Those kind of things make it tough to pass as well. So once things kind of get spread out, it's hard to pass. You'll see some of these guys really try to jump on things on the restarts, and that's the easiest time to pass.
You see a great little battle going on back here. You have the 97 of Jonathan Vachon all the way back to Randy Belk in that number 29 machine, who's looking down to the inside now of James Wallace down here into turns 3 and 4, which can become a troublesome spot. We've seen a lot of guys this past week, whether it be official or real life or any type of league here on iRacing, where you can really get in there pretty hot, Brody, getting into turns 3 and 4. I think a lot of drivers underestimate that corner. The outside middle group typically tends to be the way that you want to be, or the lane you want to be in, when you come off turns 3 and 4. But I mean, you can really get in there hard going into 1, but obviously don't underestimate that corner, because you will snap and it will bite at you.
But you just saw right there, too, the 15 tried to make a pass on the outside of the 97 going into turn 1. It got him out of position. He lost the position, lost momentum, and now he's getting passed by other cars who have momentum. That's what happens. That's why it's so important to get those passes done in a timely manner, because if not, it puts you in a bad position, and you lose a lot of momentum and can lose positions. But yeah, this track is one of the tougher tracks with this car. You'll start seeing some of the guys you saw the car in front there, I think the 26, kind of get out of shape. It's really easy because this car feels like it's on top of the track. It's really easy to get loose out of turn 2, and when you do, you lose your momentum, and so you end up losing positions there as well.
Everybody kind of just single file right now, riding around as we have 11 laps under the belt right now, working on lap number 12. It's still Nathan Bigart up at the front by about less than 0.2 of a second over Daniel Simmons, who I think, honestly, Brody, we have seen Nathan Bigart usually be really good on long-run speed, but the 06 machine, and also you could even say the 48 of Jamie Knopf, those guys from LA Motorsports, they can really put together a race. Whether it be short run, medium run, long run, it doesn't matter. Those cars are always fast. I think Daniel Simmons might have something for the defending champ here tonight.
I think he does, but again, you mentioned his teammate, the 48 of Knopf. He's up to 8th spot. He's up 4 positions right now. So, again, he's one of the guys you kind of have to keep an eye on. It's the 48, and he's definitely making some moves up through the pack, up to 8th spot. And we see, who was that got loose off turn 2 back there?
Jake Euler.
15 of Euler, all out of shape there, losing a lot of momentum. And it was another car in front of him as well. I think the 97 also got loose there. Those guys are going to lose a few positions. You see the 42 of...
we got a caution.
Oh, we do have a caution out.
Caution on the racetrack, and oh no, it's for Tony Solari in the number 11 machine. 2024 has not been kind to the driver of the number 11 machine, and he has been on a streak of bad luck so far this year. Has had a couple solid runs, but besides that, it has definitely been not very carrying momentum-wise for the driver of the 11. You see him coming off turn 2, just losing the back end.
Through the grass. Okay, good. Oh
no.
Oh my goodness. All 4 tires off the ground. He took a wild ride right there.
And you know something about that, Brody? I think he would have saved that car had he not have gone over that access road right there, that little strip of concrete below the racing surface that separates part of the grass down that back straightaway. Had he had not hopped over that and the car becoming really unsettled once it got back down on the ground, I think he would have saved it, because, I mean, we know as drivers in the sim, both me and you, it is really hard to save these cars when you're starting to go around, but especially when that car becomes unstable and it starts hopping and bumping around and stuff on bumpy racetracks like Dover, Iowa, even here off turn number 2, these things can really become a handful to save.
Yeah, these things have a tendency to snap on you, and I think that's kind of what happened to him as well there. He had it saved. He was looking at the inside wall. He wanted to make sure to avoid that, try to keep it straight, and as soon as he hit that bump, he had the wheels turned, and when it landed, it just bit and took off to the right. Luckily, there was nobody to the right of him when that happened, but it shot straight across the track into that opening on the backstretch, and the last thing I told Tony before I left is make sure you finish tonight, and I may have jinxed him, so sorry, Tony.
And we know that Tony's mom and dad are watching like they always do, so hopefully we could see the number 11 at least get back on track, but that could be highly unlikely with the damage he sustained from hitting that outside wall. That is really, honestly, kind of a really awkward spot. And in my opinion, could be one of the most awkward spots that we go on the National Touring Series schedule between the top 3 series, because you have that back straightaway here at Gateway. And I know it's not in existence anymore. They have since closed that opening, and that is an opening where a lot of safety vehicles can come onto the racetrack with ease. But that could become a troublesome spot. We've seen a lot of guys kind of, in the past, they'll kind of swing that car out to the outside, and then they get up to that back straightaway wall. As you see, as they come down the back straightaway here, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it'll be coming up right there. And then all of a sudden, it'll narrow back up. And it's a really weird circumstance. I've seen tons of guys hit that in the past. Not unlikely here in FTSR that we could see somebody hit that tonight.
I've been out there myself. It definitely can happen. If you're not careful, it'll definitely bite you if you try to ride that wall, and all of a sudden the wall disappears. And you're like, oh, I've got all this room, and then it closes back up. But Jason, looks like the pace car lights are off. We're going to go back green. Nobody pitted here. 15 laps in, so nobody decided to take this extra set of tires.
We did have a few pit, actually, from the back half of the field. We had Kyle Milliken, Euler, some others pit there, but we'll see what those 14-lap fresher tires will do. Green flags back out in the air here on lap number 17. Back into 1 and 2. Daniel Simmons gets a really good restart here over the 01 of Big Art. They're going to be side by side off turn number 2, nearly making contact, and Simmons is up and into the wall.
And that's so easy to do coming off the corner. Trying to get that power down, the thing will snap on you if you're not careful. You have to save it, and the wall's right there. Did tap the wall a little bit. We'll see if there's any damage on him that on the car that hangs off. It maybe causes some issues for him, but it was a great restart. He just wasn't able to hang off 2, and Biggart's going to retake the lead here.
And it's so tough to do that with cooler tires, because obviously those guys were pacing around for a handful of laps there, and those tires cool off. And if there's one thing that really hot, worn-out tires will do to you, it'll make you lose. But when you're on cold tires, especially coming out of 2 at Gateway, it is easy to get away from you. And Nathan Bigart surely has gotten away from the mistake made by Daniel Simmons. I see a little bit of damage maybe on the right front, just a little bit of scrapage, nothing bad. He still has the speed, keeping up with the 01 machine here at the line this time. Only about a 10th off, less than a 10th actually, from the 01 machine. So Simmons is still hauling the mail right now.
I'll tell you who I think this caution really helped. Ooh, that was that was close. He's still hanging on to that car. We got to watch Simmons to see if that's damage related or if his car is just losing the handle there. But who this caution really helped, I believe, is the 19 of Richie Coy. You looked at, he's in the top 10 already, Jason. He's in 10th place right now, so he's in stage point position. That's huge coming from 20th. So he's already made his way up to the top 10. I think he's going to have something to say about this race here tonight.
And I can tell you that Richie Coy is definitely huffing and puffing, and I say that every single broadcast, because if you go and watch his live stream or you've ever seen him have his driver cam on, boy, oh boy, Richie Coy down the straightaways, he always says, oh, well, it's my sigh of relief to get myself back in check. He holds his breath around the corner. Looks like he's got both cheeks filled with marshmallows doing the Chubby Bunny Challenge, and then all of a sudden he just exhales all that air coming off the corner. Richie Coy definitely doing a great job so far, up into the top 10, plus 12 from where he started. And I think he knows he has a winning car here, as we have one driver coming into the pits. That's the 51 of Bill Hull. Looks like he is going to exit the vehicle. But back to Richie Coy, I think he knows, Brody, that he has a winning car. I mean, why wouldn't he feel like that? Because he dominated this race last year.
Yeah, well, things change a lot from year to year, too. As we saw with Kyle Busch in the relay race, I mean, people get better, things evolve, the car evolves, setups evolve, and everything gets tougher year after year for sure. But I think a 10th place right now is a big win, but he's still got a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of fast cars in front of him. You still got the 48, the 01 up front, the 06, the 77 Moreau's back. There's you got Chandler up there. You talk about a tough race to win. you come here in the FTSR Cup Series, and you're going to have a fight on your hands because there's so many good guys up here up front. As you see with the Green Flag Racing, I mean, these guys know what they're doing. They're putting a show on for sure here, and we're about 20. We're 17 laps away from the first stage, or the only stage break, and so things are going to start. You'll start seeing the tires kind of wear, and handling may become a factor here before we get to the stage.
So 2 things I want to say. Number 1, I cannot wait to see if the 77 can get past the 06 and see Nick Moreau go and battle last season's champion Nathan Bigart, because those are 2 of the fastest drivers in FTSR when they show up. But also got to give a round of applause to Ben Tracy. At the tail end of the A portion of the schedule, Ben was really qualifying up front, and he was having good runs and just couldn't put a race together. But I mean, if there's one driver who I feel like who's been most improved from 2023 into 2024, it has to be that 35.
I think you're right. I think that speaks volumes to his alliance with the 06 and the 48 as well. Those guys were all kind of working together. Call them a team, but I think they're on separate teams. But all those guys are kind of working together, sharing information. You see the 48 and the 06 run really well, and you've seen Ben Tracy in the 35 pick up and be up there with those guys as well. So that's just speaks volumes to the teamwork that they have. But from a driving standpoint, absolutely. I mean, he's putting pressure on Nick Moreau right now. So that's a huge step forward as he's pushing him down the straightaway.
And he pushes the 77 down into 1 and 2. Those guys were side by side for a couple laps, and now they've brought Joseph Grijalva into the battle there from the Fuego Autosport group, and you see him going down the front straightaway, riding right behind the 35 and the 77. Great little battle going on for third. Bigart has pulled out to more than 3/4 of a second gap over the 06. And there's that man, Richie Core, that we talked about, who was probably going to be so fast tonight. He's up tonight, working on Jamie Knopf now as they're at it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys right here that I would not count out of this race by a long shot. The 48, the 19, and the 67 last week had a great run. He could have another great run here tonight as well. You got the 24 of Jose Acosta right there behind those guys. This group of guys, once they get track position, are gonna play a factor as well. But can they? You have to look at pit stops, all sets on tires, those kind of things to really get any kind of track position to be able to challenge DO1 of Bigart right now, because the way it sits, you've got Bigart, but Simmons is almost a second back, I believe, of Bigart. So Nathan's kind of pulled out to a little bit of a lead here going into the stage.
Yeah, and that's always comfortable to have that lead, because we have seen time and time again that Nathan Bigart is definitely a stage king when it comes to FTSR. He is so dominant with these stages, and you see now a battle brewing again here for the third spot. Ben Tracy got the 77 and Moreau loose out of turn 4. Moreau will climb the hill. Tracy to follow right back behind him in that middle lane. The 77 just kind of seems to be on edge, and as I say that, he gets loose off too. And usually, Brody, what we've seen out of Nicholas Moreau in the past is he usually always fires off good. This car is good on the short run, the medium run, and the long run, but tonight it's kind of just been balanced. But right now he just looks really, really loose.
Yeah, we see some of the cars do the little wiggle off the corner, off 2 and off 4, just a little unstable, a little unsettled. And again, as we run this race, things are going to change more and more. You see the 19 starting to try to put some pressure on the 48 of Jamie Knopf here. But you'll see some of the guys get a little unsettled out of the corner, and some of the guys will actually, the track will come to them. We'll see how some of these changes. You see the 19 is going to look low into turn 3 and 4, and you see Jamie way high into turn 3.
Way up out of the groove, and that was not the place to be by all means necessary in yesterday's Cup race. We saw Ryan Blaney get up and out of that groove, nearly lost the lead to Christopher Bell in yesterday's Cup race. And even going into 1 and 2, they used that upper groove a lot to diamond it through 1 and 2. Tonight, I doubt you're going to see that, but all possibilities are up on the table. We're only 30 laps in here tonight, coming to 10 laps to go in this stage. I think you're starting to see a lot of the drivers so far, Brody, who have really fast cars, but, of course, these guys are going to be able to make adjustments here at the end of this stage break. Who do you think you like so far? Because, I mean, if there's one driver I got to pick, it's Richie Coy as he slaps the wall out of 4.
Yeah, immediate commentator's curse. I love it. But you saw Jamie use that high line through 3 and 4, and it really worked for him off the corner. So I kind of wonder if he was forced up there and maybe learned something. It's something he could possibly learn later on. It wasn't a terrible move. The 19 hugged the bottom, and the 48 got a great run off the corner and was able to maintain the position. So it's just, we talked about how tough it is to pass. I mean, it's just so tough to pass here unless you have a huge run on the guy and are able to complete that pass. You get stuck on the bottom, you'll get railroaded if you're not careful. And that's the last thing you want, especially coming in. You see Richie Coy now in 9th place, trying to get 8th from the 48. The 48 slips a little high there, and that's going to open the door. We're going to have a battle for 8th now as Coy looks to the inside, see if he can finish the pass this time.
Richie Coy would love more stage points. To the bottom of Jamie Canop he goes, and could bring last week's winner Jose Acosta with him. Could be a 2-for-1 loss for the 48 here of Jamie Canop. As you see the 24 all over the rear bumper now, back down the front straightaway. He'll go to the inside. We know how aggressive Acosta can be. He's going to travel up the hill just a little bit, but gives the 48 plenty of room. As in the 12 machine of Grajava either slapped the wall or really missed the corner there through 1 and 2. He falls into the clutches of Jeff Chandler, and now they battle back to turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, Chandler on the inside of the 12. He's going to try to take the... and there's a little more contact. The 31 slides up just a little bit, kind of door checks him, and he's going to take that position to move Chandler up into 5th place, and here comes the 12 trying to fight back on the inside.
I don't think Grajava is going to appreciate that little door that the 31 gave to him through 1 and 2. And in fact, he's going to give Chandler barely any room to come down the racetrack, as we got a battle for 3rd going on. Battles all over the racetrack.
It's happening.
Battle for 3rd between Tracy and Moreau, and Grajava and Chandler are holding up the 3 cars behind them. That's LaFleur, Coy, and Acosta back to 3 and 4. Look at the 99 of LaFleur. He thought about making it 3 wide through 3 and 4. Not enough momentum off the corner. And contact made. Grajava just saves it. 3 wide down the front straightaway. And he's going to tag the 24 Acosta up the racetrack. Do they save it? Richie Coy gets tagged. Huge race implications for the 19 of Richie Coy and the 24 of Jose Acosta. 2 of the biggest names in FTSR from the past couple weeks, and they're up and in a wall.
There are not going to be, none of those guys are going to be happy about any of that. Anything that happened. The 19 was an innocent bystander, but the 12, I don't know what happened off turn 4. You got into the 31, and then they were 3 wide, then into the 24 into turn 1, and just chaos ensued, man. And that's tough. You're going to have a lot of unhappy drivers from that situation, I'm sure.
And that ending of that battle took about 3 laps to complete when the 12 and the 31 got together and then made contact and battled for an entire lap again. And then it put the number 19, the 12, the 24 all in very vulnerable positions.
Right.
And you see Randy Belk, he is now starting to drop back. Richie Coy is going to be driving like he stole it here these last handful of laps. He's still in the position to get stage points. But I think right there, Brody, down into 1 and 2, when they came off 4 in the 12, he tried to, thought he was clear. And he tried to come up but wasn't. Got into the left rear of Chandler, shot down the racetrack, and then the 24 was already coming with a head of steam. He was already trying to pass the 19 of Coy or whoever it was. And then the 12 just came up the racetrack abruptly and just basically got into the 24 and then sent him right into the 19.
Yeah, just a little lack of awareness, it looked like, at the beginning and also at the end there, with them being 3 wide with the 24. Just wasn't enough room there. 24, we're coming to the end of the stage, so the 24 is putting pressure on as well, but you see the 12 having a lot of issues right now. But yeah, just I think lack of experience, lack of awareness a little bit there. Some of that could have been avoided, but somehow through all that we stay green. We've got about 2 laps left in the stage, and these guys are kind of breathing a sigh of relief now that they've kind of cleared some of that, it's kind of spaced things out. Oh, we got a
crash in the back. Acosta and Brian Dublé have gone around in 3 and 4. I saw them side by side heading into the corner. Oh, and we have a pile up in the center of the corner. Another driver involved. That's Rob Tracy
14.
in the 14 machine. Oh my goodness, what happened here on into turn 3, Brody?
We'll see here. It's a 37 clears. Who's that? The 26 of Matthew Bacon. They go into the corner. We'll see something happens in front of those guys. It looks like the 24. Don't. Huh.
That was a little odd. I don't know if the car just snapped on him or what, but that was a very... and Robert Tracy just nowhere to go, committed to the outside. T-bones the 24 and the 37 of Brian Duplay. Innocent bystander, just like Robert Tracy there, going into 3 and 4. And Brody, with that being said, second caution of the evening is obviously going to put us under the stage break. And Nathan Bigart is going to pick up stage 1, and that being the only stage break here tonight. Simmons, Tracy, Moreau, Chandler top 5, LaFleur, Knopf, Wallace, Coy, and Euler, your top 10. So far, so good, but so exciting at the same time.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild there. Got kind of wild there towards the end of the stage. I think some of that's old tires and some of that's knowing the stage break is coming up. So a little bit of action there for sure, and we're going to see some more of it as we go.
And we are definitely going to see some more of it. You won't want to miss it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back for the start and resumption from Gateway here for stage number 2.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Drag race to the lunch! Drag race to the lunch!
Welcome back to the Gateway 200, live from the Worldwide Technology Raceway here for the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series on LSRTV. Jason Rockefeller, Brody Hanna, Charles Wooten up here in the LSRTV broadcast booth with you all here tonight. Just got done wrapping up the one and only stage break here for the evening. Nathan Bigart wins it under caution after the 24 of Jose Acosta snaps loose through 3 and 4, creates a multi-car wreck. Put us under the second caution of the evening. And now we're getting ready for the start of stage number 2. Brody, what do you think we're going to expect here from these 31 drivers?
Well, I'm looking at the lineup, and it looks like, where did Richie Coy come out? Did he go? He must have got his damage fixed. He is back in 22nd position. It'll be 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in that location. So he had some damage to fix. I'm sure the 12 has some damage to fix. The 24 looks like he's 3 laps down. He may be out of it for sure here. So some of our early contenders already eliminated, and that opens up the door for some of these guys to maybe steal some points tonight, get back in this points championship battle.
We're about to find out and see who's got what it takes here to win at Gateway. Will we see more controversy? Will we see more action? You betcha.
Yes.
Let's see if these guys can keep it clean and green. Here we go. Into the Geico restart zone they go. And Big Art and Simmons will lead them down. Green flag's back out in the air. Big Art gets about a nose length of a lead over the 06 down into 1 and 2. But we saw Simmons last time around, Brody. He got to the 01, but this time through 1 and 2. He will not. Ben Tracy trying to take advantage on the inside for second.
That's right. Teammates of Tracy and Simmons side by side for second place. Looks like Simmons is going to get that run off the top. Take second place. Tracy back to third. Nick Moreau back to fourth place. And Jeff Chandler still riding up in fifth. Being kind of quiet tonight. We'll see if he can strike as well. We got some new players from sixth on back, though. We've got LaFleur up there. Jamie Knopf has been hanging in there. Belk is still in there, but you got James Wallace back there and Jake Orler now in 10th spot.
A lot of opportunities for a lot of drivers here tonight as we start stage number 2, a lap underway from the start of stage 2 here on lap 45. You see Simmons trying to close the gap up to Nathan Bigart. Lots of jockeying for position these last couple laps. We had 3 wide for a minute. One of the drivers was Joseph Rojava, I believe, in the middle off turn 4 1 lap ago. But everybody's gotten single filed out. And Brody, this is that point in the race where you got to try to pick spots off where you can. But then after a certain amount of laps, it's save, save, save.
It's such a fine line because this is when you can gain a lot of positions. You've got the new tires. You've got that great grip that you want. But you've also got to take care of those tires because you don't know when that next caution's coming. If we get another caution, we could run green to the end here and you run to a green flag pit stop as well. So these guys have a lot to think about here. Do you go for it right now? Looks like the 06 of Simmons is starting to put pressure on Bigart. Again, we saw how good he was on the fresher tires. We'll see if he can take the lead from Bigart here.
And not that time by, but the last time around, Daniel Simmons set the fast lap of the race with a 33.975. And he is definitely all over the back bumper of Nathan Bigart down the back straightaway. You see Nick Moreau trying to find a way around Ben Tracy. Chandler trying to hold off Daniel LaFleur. And Jeff Chandler is a driver who, like I mentioned, Brody, finished second here 1 year ago to Richie Coy. Jeff Chandler is a driver who could definitely come out here and steal this win away. We saw Cody McKinney steal one away from the 2 dominant teammates, obviously, from the Clinic Racing guys on Wednesday night. It's a possibility we could see somebody steal one just like we saw on Sunday and also Wednesday night.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff before the race, and he was really confident with what he had for the race tonight as well. Felt like he had a really good long-run car. Of course, we're not going to see it in 40 laps, but you get a 60-lap run or something, you may see him start moving back towards the front. And some of these other guys may have that as well. So got to hang on for the short run, kind of defend the runs early on, try to maintain track position. And that's if he can stay out of trouble. Jess has some really tough luck in the last couple of races, getting caught up in other stuff. As a matter of fact, him and I wrecked in the truck race here earlier, just racing for position. We were just fighting for 10th place and got kind of tangled up as well. So I can tell you, it's not easy, and it's kind of sucks to be on that end. But now you're seeing the 06 start to put pressure again on the 01 of Bigart. I think Daniel's tired of seeing that 01 in front of him right now.
I think the thing is here for Daniel Simmons is if he can just kind of gather it back up, kind of make little runs at him, don't push the car, because I think that's why we saw the 01 get away from Simmons at the end of stage 1 before the caution came out. He pulled out to over about a second and a half, maybe even nearly 2 seconds, I believe it was, to the 06, and it's because of that long run. The tire started to wear out a little bit, and the 06 is just really fast on the short run. But again, it's so hard to pass here. Dirty air, the quote-unquote air blocking term that we made this year in the NASCAR Cup Series, has become a big thing with these NASCAR Next Generation Gen 7 cars. And I think if Daniel Simmons can try to just find a different line, back it down a little bit, save some tires, he might be able to push Nathan Bigart. We know Bigart's fast, that's clear as day. But obviously the 06, he's got something to say. He's just got to use those tires and be really wise with that car and also on the track.
Well, I think there's 2 schools of thought there. And I've actually talked to Jamie Knopf, the teammate of the 06 of Simmons. And Jamie's told me before that there's times where he just goes up there and tries to put pressure on the leader, try to either make him make a mistake or make him use his stuff up, and hope that's enough to capitalize going forward. You see the 91 actually did get by the 31 and now under attack from the 36. I'm sorry, the 48 there of Knopf, who I'm talking about. But there's two schools of thought. You either go up there and try to put pressure on the leader and try to make him either make a mistake or use his stuff up, or you do sit back, let him lead, and hope that it comes back to you at the end. But the problem with that is he's already had a 40-lap run, and he sees that he's not able to kind of hang with the 01 after 40 laps. So now he's got to try something different. I think he's trying to just put pressure on the 01 and see if he'll make a mistake or use his stuff up more than the 06 and open up the door for some of these other guys to have a shot.
Yeah, and it's definitely a possibility, obviously, for the 06 machine, but we're just going to have to wait and find out to see if he has that faster car than the 01. Here's a battle going on between Jeff Chandler, also the number 48 of Jamie Knopf, who's starting to make his way up through the field. And then right behind him, Randy Belk in that number 29 machine, 33 wrap job for the Team Conti car. Really fast so far tonight. Randy Belk, obviously, newcomer here to the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. So far, a great showing for the 29. Started up in the 10th spot. He's already up inside the top 10 further in 8th, so doing a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. Here he's starting to put pressure on the 48 of Knopf as well. And yeah, Randy's had a great run going last week. I don't think it quite worked out the way he wanted to, but he had a great run going. Randy's shown a lot of speed. We don't know much about him. He's new to the league, but he's actually, he's kind of been kind of quiet, which is not a bad thing, but he's quietly working his way to the front. He started, where did he start? He started in 10th. He's up to 8th, so he's just kind of hanging around the top 10 right now, doing exactly what he needs to do at this point of the race. And then, as the laps kind of click off and people start either eliminating themselves or showing that they're a contender, then you start trying to find out, okay, who do I race? Who am I racing? How far can I get? What can I do for strategy? Those kind of things. There's a lot to think about going forward, and he's just hanging out right now. He's behind some really good drivers to follow, which is the 48 of Knopf and the 31 of Chandler.
Yeah, and he's doing a really good job overall in that 29 machine. Right back behind him, James Wallace in the 67 there in 9th, also having a great run. James is somebody who kind of has some good runs here and there, but overall, I'm no offense to James Wallace, but usually he's mired in the middle of the back half of the field. To see him running up in this top 10 is a really great story. He had some good runs towards the tail end of the A portion of the schedule, and so far here tonight at Gateway also having a good run.
Well, James is one of those guys, he either doesn't focus much on qualifying or doesn't qualify very often, so he usually starts towards the back of the pack. And he's one of the guys that I won't say usually, but he sometimes gets caught up in things that aren't of his making. He gets caught up in some of these accidents that happen, unfortunately, and that kind of eliminates him. He's always fast, always quick, and when he can get through the pack cleanly like he did last week, he can have a great run. He finished top 3 last week. He's looking for another great run tonight, and starting to propel himself into the championship battle. If he can have another great run, he'll be one of the ones we talk about going on and on. As you see the 31 and the 33 side by side off of 2. Chandler, very close quarters racing, but Chandler going the wrong direction here early on.
Thought the 29 was going to put the 31 up and into the wall there for a quick minute there through 1 and 2, and in fact runs Jeff Chandler a little bit up the racetrack, gives him plenty of room though through 3 and 4, and off the corner still going to be side by side. This is going to give an opportunity for James Wallace to try to close in here if these two don't clear each other by the time they get out of 2.
This is exactly what I was talking about. You get stuck side by side. Both these guys are wearing their tires out. Somebody has to give. It looks like Chandler's going to give that position up, and that's going to allow the 67 maybe to get a run. Nope, they're going to duck back into position here and hang on.
And you see Wallace able to close right there in on the back bumper of Jeff Chandler going through 3 and 4, but now Chandler kind of pulls away a little bit, and meanwhile back up at the front, Nathan Bigart has pulled away from Simmons by just, and as I say that, take that guy.
Oh,
my goodness! Daniel Simmons runs right into the back of Kyle Milliken stopped on the racetrack at a turn number 2. Such a crucial part of the racetrack. And Brody, I think he was stopped there for quite a bit.
Yeah.
But he
We're
didn't
watching
know the
a
leaders were
replay.
coming. And
Yeah,
my goodness.
So here we come off turn 2, loose, and that's a snap we were talking about, Jason. He snaps to the right, sits there, waits, because he just holds it, and then he moves, and the 06 is right into him.
And you know what, though? I don't blame Kyle Milliken. He lost it. He had to sit there, expected the caution to come out. I mean, it's not like he could force those guys to hit him. But coming off of that corner, the car starts to straighten out. And obviously, you become kind of blind spotted because I don't think Daniel Simmons knew the 42 was going to be right there. And when the 01 veered out of the way quick enough, and thank goodness he did, the 06 of Simmons was already committed to the top, never saw the 42, and just ran right into him.
Man, it's maybe see somebody cut
break.
across the concrete there coming off the pit lane. But yeah, I mean, that's terrible for Daniel. I know it's kind of sucks. It comes off the corner. I mean, it is kind of it's a tight corner. It's a blind corner a little bit. You come off the corner there. I don't know if he didn't expect the 42 to move. I don't even know if there was room between the 42 and the wall, honestly. So just a tough break there with something that is clearly avoidable for both those guys. That's tough.
Definitely a tough break for the number 06 of Daniel Simmons, who is going to take that damage repair, hit the 42 machine on the right side extremely hard. Probably gave him a little bit of engine damage, especially if that radiator is going to be pushed in back enough. And he's going to take as much damage repair time as he can. But it looks like we had a few drivers obviously stay out there. That would be Randy Belk and Jake Hoyle. They're going to stay out here. And they're going to be restarting on the front row, Brody. So what do you think this is going to do for this restart here?
Well, you got a few guys that stayed out. At least the 33 stayed out. Yeah, it looks like we had some guys take some 2 tires as well. I think the 48 in front of the 01 took 2 tires at least. Maybe another car in front of him as well. I'm not sure, but yeah, this mixes things up a little bit. We'll see how these 2 tires work out. Jamie Knopf, Jake Euler, I think, stayed out. Randy Belk stayed out. So you got some guys in front of your leaders or your faster cars now. We'll see how they're able to treat those.
Before we get back going, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get ready to go back racing here from Gateway. Stick around. This is the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series live on LSRTV.
Drag race to the line.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back to Worldwide Technology Raceway here in St. Louis, where the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series is here for round number 2 of the 2024 B season. Jason Rockefeller, Brody Hanna, Charles Wooten up here in the booth with you on LSRTV. Getting ready for the restart after a very, very climatic moment in the race, which saw Kyle Milliken go around in front of the leaders. Daniel Simmons made big contact with the side of the 42 machine, but Simmons is back out on the racetrack. He's going to resume in 22nd. Couple of guys stayed out. Belk and Euler, they're going to lead them back down the front row. Everybody else has 20 lap fresher tires than the rest of them. Green flag is back out, and Belk gets out to a good lead, but Jamie Knopf able to get out to that third place spot, now going for second through one.
Yeah, the 33 on older tires, the 50 on older tires, the 48 on 2 tires. We'll see what that does for those guys. The rest of these guys took 4 tires, I believe. So we'll see. You see the 99 of LaFleur starting to make some noise here. He's starting to inch towards the front farther and farther as he ducks the inside of 15 of Euler to take over that 4th position.
And Jamie Knopf is... Oh, I thought he was going to clear him right there off the corner, but he doesn't. Belk hangs tough up on the outside with those older tires. Oh, and back into 1 and 2. Big scramble, and Moreau gets set up the racetrack, runs into the back of LaFleur. Oh, and there's the 35 of Ben Tracy. He made contact with the 29 of Belk. Big scramble going through 1 and 2, and back to 3 they go.
Yeah, this has really mixed things up the front. You see a lot of guys, different strategies, different speeds. Everybody trying to work their way through. As you see 3 wide through 3 and 4 here with the 33 on the outside. They're going to get it back down to 2 wide off of turn 4 and kind of settle this stuff out. But, man, it's just a little bit chaotic up here. Everybody has a little bit different speed. You got some new guys up front to kind of deal with. You see is that the 35 that's in the back of, who's in front of him? The 99 of LaFleur. And that's going to open up the door for the 01 to take the position, take 3rd place from Tracy.
Lots of contact made throughout these last couple laps. Nick Moreau just got in the left rear of Ben Tracy there through 1 and 2. And while Jamie Knopf scoots away and loves what he sees behind him, he just wants to see more of that as he continues to pull out. It's almost a second lead, but here comes Nathan Bigard, the man who's been so dominant all night long, going into 1. Little bit of contact there between the 77 of Moreau and Ben Tracy. That opens up the door for Joseph Rojalba to look for a pass on the inside, but he'll duck back in line here, back to 3.
These guys are really going at it, but you do see LaFleur now in 2nd place. You got Biggert in 3rd place. Trying to chase down the 48 of Knopf on 2 tires. This is going to get interesting here. Now they're side by side for 2nd place as Biggert's looking to get by this guy really quick and try to make a run at the 48. He doesn't have the run in turn 1, though.
And this is the first time all night long we've had to see Nathan Bigart work around traffic because he's been the leader for this entire race. And Danny LaFleur brushes the wall off turn number 2. And the 01 did not squeeze him up into the wall. The 99 just naturally and gradually worked his way up to the outside wall, hit it. And now he drops back 3, almost 4 positions as he lets by the 01, the 77, the 35. And Joseph Rojalba is right there in the number 12 machine to pounce if anything goes wrong.
I was going to say, look who's in 3rd. He's moved up to 3rd place now. Nick Moreau in the 77, new number. Same kind of driving, though. He's starting to work his way towards the front, now putting pressure on the 01 of Biggert, who gets really close to the wall off turn 2 as they shoot down the backstretch, trying to chase down the 48 of Knopf.
Back into 3 and 4 this time. You see the 01 just trying to defend and hold off the 77 of Nick Moreau. This has been a battle I've been looking forward to all night long. I would love to see it for the lead, but 2nd will do just fine. Bigart and Moreau, 2 of the big names in FTSR, going at it. Coming up here shortly as they go back into 1 and 2. They've closed that gap in on Jamie Knopf. It was about a 2nd. Now it is less than a 10th. Here comes Bigart. He moves down to the inside of the racetrack on the 2-tire machine of Jamie Knopf. Back to turns 3 and 4. This is going to give Nick Moreau an opportunity to drive it down into 3, in which he does. Can he get the run here off 4 to try to pass these drivers side by side on corner exit? Door to door here as they hit lap 72.
Yeah, those 2 tires are not hanging on too well. Not as good as I think Knopf would wanted, but he's still hanging to the outside of the 01, trying to stay there. He's kind of, okay, now he's lost a little momentum off the corner. It's going to give the 01 an opportunity to be clear. Now the 77 of Nick Moreau is going to look to the inside, try to stay with that 01 and see if he can do something with him later on into turn 3. Oh, up the track, into the side of the 48. just slight contact, but enough to move him up, and now he's going to try to clear him off 4, and still not able to clear him as the 48's got momentum off 4.
And Ben Tracy in that 4th spot saying, come on, boys, more of that. That's what I like to see, because Ben Tracy has reeled in the 2. Knopf loose on entry, gets up into the marbles through 1 and 2, just scrapes the wall, and LaFleur has to really avoid the 48 there on corner exit. Nearly ran to the back of him. He'll go down to the inside, the number 99 Transit Camaro. Still side by side through 3 and 4. The top 3, though, Big Art, Moreau, and Tracy as they work off 4.
And you see what that loss of momentum does. I mean, he got into turn 1 and got a little loose, and so he had to slow the car way down, which killed his exit off 2, which allowed the 99 to get by, allowed the 35 to get by. It compounds until you get to the next corner are able to reset. With these low horsepower cars, it's more about momentum than ever. But you see LaFleur now in 4th place, Knopf in 5th, Tracy in front of those guys still hanging on in the top 5 in 3rd place, doing a great job in the 35. You got Moreau in 2nd place trying to hang with the 01 of Tracy. We got side by side back here. This is for 10th spot, I believe. Yes, 10th spot. The 67 looking to the inside of the 19 of Coy. That's James Wallace on the inside trying to take a position.
This has definitely been a chaotic-filled race so far. From that man right there, Richie Coy, being involved in an incident. Same with Jose Acosta, the 06 of Daniel Simmons, and obviously many drivers up at the front that maybe we did not expect to see, but they are up at the front running hard for position. Those being said, I mean, Ben Tracy, Joseph Rojava, Jonathan Vachon, and the number 97 inside the top 5 to 10. Door to door, though, off the corner was the 19 and the 29 machine, and they're going to go back at it in the 1, and here comes Coy trying to make a spot on those rumble strips.
Yeah, the 29 or 33 on your screen, but the 29 car there, he stayed out on old tires. That has not worked out for him whatsoever. He slipped back into 11th place so far, and he's going in the wrong direction for sure. It was a nice try, but certainly didn't work out for him as he was running in the top 10 before that caution, and this is going to really cost him some track position.
Little battle going on back here between Lane Allen and the number 8 machine. New number for him this season at 8 Bass Pro Shops machine. Same sponsor, new number, same driver. Back to 1 and 2. He's side by side with Euler, able to clear him while Grassi and Duplay battle 3 wide in the 1 and 2. Walks up the racetrack. Contact made between the 7 and the 15, but they bounce off one another and they keep it straight.
Yeah, the 15 was trying to give the 8 room there because he saw him get loose. 7, I don't think he knew that, and there's a little bit of contact there, just casual contact. These guys continue on, no big issue, no harm, no foul. A little more casual contact off the corner. Now this is getting a little serious. These guys are a little upset at each other probably, and we got to settle this going into turn 1. Looks like the 7's got the tire advantage anyway. He's going to try to drive right around the 15. 15's going to hang there, though. Gets a little loose, still close. These guys are putting on a show. You know, we talked how hard it is to pass at this track, and how hard it is to run side by side. These guys are doing it, but yeah, 15 stayed out on old tires as well. He's going to be struggling a little bit here.
Oh.
And oh man.
Yeah, they're still going at it. I thought the 7 of Wayne Grassi right there for a moment was going to wash up the racetrack and clean out Jake Euler through 3 and 4. Kind of started to walk up the racetrack there, but was able to recover, and Euler and him still battle. Meanwhile, Jamie Knopf on those 2 tires still kind of managing inside the top 10, but he is falling into the clutches now of Jeff Chandler in that 31 machine, trying to get around him. Jeff's had a solid car all night long and looking to get around that LA Motorsports driver with Team Conti, that 48 of Jamie Knopf here as they work back to 1.
Yeah, Jamie, I think it was a good move right now. I will say that. You know, trying to take the 2 tires, get some track position, lead some laps. He did. He got up front. He was running in the back half or the middle of the back of the top 10, around 8th spot when he pitted. So as long as he doesn't fall too far from that, it's a net gain. It's something, you know, you wanted to try to get track position. He did, but now he's kind of paying for it. If we get another quick caution, he could come in, get his tires, and kind of reset. And maybe, that was close. The 57 and the, I'm not sure who that was back there. The 57 26. And the 26 of Bacon. Getting really close off turn 4, getting acquainted.
Yeah, definitely getting acquainted with Shown. Bounced off the 57 of Johnson on corner exit. They were able to keep it going straight. Little battle going on back here. Here comes the 06 of Simmons trying to recover from that damage he sustained under the last caution, making his way back up now inside the top 15. He's currently 12th, works around Randy Belt. And while Belt continues to drop, he's opened up the door for Sherwood Williford, last year's Indianapolis Oval winner in that 33 machine, won on the scoring pylon for you folks at home. Oh, Johnson nearly ran to the back of the 33. He's going to have to travel up the racetrack. Big gaggle here coming off turn 2.
Yeah, see the 57 on the outside of the 26 of Vacon. Vacon trying to make that pass. I'm sure Williford sees that behind him and is trying to figure out where he needs to be. He's trying to get by the car in front of him before he has to deal with these guys. You see the 57 run way up the track and cede that position to the number 26. Meanwhile, Sherwood looking for a way around the Randy Belk machine in front of him on old tires.
Meanwhile, back up at the front, you see Nick Moreau. He is still maintaining that second place position. We are still yet to see the speed out of this 77 machine, but Ben Tracy has just been on the hunt consistently inside the top 3 to 5 all night long. He is putting a little bit of pressure right now, Brody, on this 77. Can we see the driver who was nowhere near Nick Moreau 1 year ago now compete with him for second? Does he have what it takes to get around Moreau?
He's definitely got the speed for sure right now. Looks like he's putting pressure on the 77. You see a mistake out of Moreau off of turn 2, and that's going to open up the door for a little bit of momentum there for the 35. He sees, as a driver, you see the guy in front of you struggling. You see that wiggle. You put it, you make a mental note. Say, okay, he's struggling. He's off the corner. He's loose off the corner. What are you going to do? Exactly what he's doing right there. Put all the pressure off of him, on him coming off the corner. Make him make a mistake. Get right on this bumper. Maybe get him a little arrow loose. And you put the pressure on him enough, and he'll just have to seat the position like that. So move Ben Tracy up in the second spot, man. He's got some speed tonight for sure.
This 35 of Ben Tracy has been so consistent all night long. And it's funny because he started in the top 5 and he has stayed there all night long, still trying to defend though on the 77 of Nick Moreau off turn 4 to the line. Nathan Bigart still leading by a little over a second and a half here as we hit lap 86. That last time around, Tracy was only a tenth off the speed of the 01 machine, and still a lot of moving up for a lot of drivers. Still a little bit of a long ways to go here, Brody.
Yeah, we still got a long way to go, and that's one thing I was going to keep in mind too is, we've yet to see a really, really long run. We've yet to see green flag pit stops, stuff like that. We've just passed halfway, so a lot of things could change from this point forward as well. We'll see some of these guys maybe have a better long run car. Not sure though. I mean, like I said, so far it looks like the 01's got things covered, at least for as long as we've run so far. We'll see, some of these guys kind of show up. The 35 Tracy, man, he's moved forward. Now he's in second spot. And we'll see if we get another restart, if he can do anything on the restart.
Whoa.
Man, those transit machines are really loose off the corner.
Yeah, and that was Daniel LaFleur off turn number 2. The 12 of Joe Grajava nearly ran into the back of him. And Grajava having a great run here tonight despite the controversy he created going into 1 and 2 after bouncing off the 31 and collecting the 24 and the 19 machine. 2 of the fastest drivers in the field tonight, and I believe only one of them has been able to recover. Jose Acosta out 27, or in the 27th spot, 17 laps down, while Richie Coy, though, has worked back up inside the top 10. Great recovery for Richie Coy, despite starting at the back, making it up towards the top 10, even the top 5 at one point. Fell back, and even with the damage, Brody, he's still coming back pretty strong.
Yeah, he is. He's, up to 8th spot. Just kind of managing what he's got. I'm sure he's probably not got a perfect car anymore. Probably doesn't handle like he wanted it to when he started the race, but just taking what the car will give him. It's another good thing he does. Starting to inch his way back up into the top, towards the top 5 and into our discussion here for the end of this race. I mean, again, we are only a little past halfway, so it's still a long way to go for him.
So with that being said, now that we're obviously a little bit past the halfway point here, and these guys last pitted on lap 61, and I know these Gen 7 cars, they have that bigger fuel cell compared to the Gen 6 cars, so now this opens up the opportunity for, knowing that this race usually tends to have a long green flag run, Brody, when do you expect that we'll see some drivers duck down to the pit lane possibly?
That's a tough one. I didn't really get to look at it that much, but I would guess maybe around 60, 65 laps is kind of how far you can go. And we took the green wipe with about 90 laps, 85 laps to go. So you could see a mix of different kinds of strategy. I know some of those guys have the 2 tires, like Jamie Knopf right there, or some of the guys who didn't take tires will want to jump in here and get their tires early on, just because they lose so much time to these guys who have newer tires. And man, you see it's hot and heavy right here. The 48 trying to hang on with those 2 tires, the 67 trying to move up, and the 19 is kind of on a mission, I believe, right now. But yeah, you could see a mix of I'd say you see some guys come in within the next 20 laps, and you may see some guys stretch it even longer than that. See the 54 on pit road. Maybe one of the early guys. You could see some guys pit in the next 20 laps, and you could see some guys go 40 laps longer. So it should be kind of interesting to see what these guys choose to do.
Well, all I got to tell you is if this race goes green to the end, you better make sure you have enough fuel, unlike I did yesterday in the Cup Series race, because that is not one that I want to relive for sure. Very painful moment for our defending champion, Ryan Blaney. But great battles all night long. You see the 48 of Jamie Knopf still sliding back. But honestly, Brody, I mean, from the restart that we saw a little after lap 61, you know, the 48, I think, has definitely fallen off more than I think we probably anticipated. Because if you watched yesterday's Cup Series race, remember, there were guys who took 2 tires on some restart in long green flag runs, and they were able to be equally, if not sometimes even faster than the guys on 4 tires. But that has not been the case for this 48 machine.
Yeah, I mean, the 48, I'm not sure he had race-winning speed to start with. Nothing against him, but, you know, to start the race, we saw the 06 hang with the 01, the 77, the 35, but the 48 was kind of, like I said, back half of the top 10, so don't know if he had speed like the leaders, but he definitely is falling off now. He's fallen off farther than where he was running, so now he's probably in a little bit of a panic mode and thinking, okay, what can I do strategy-wise here to make up for that? You don't want to pit too early, because then you put yourself again on another disadvantage of tires, but you also don't want to wait too long and fall too far back where you can't make it up. So I'd be interested to see what the 48 does for sure here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. A little battle going on. Nearly had calamity off turn number 2. You saw the 12 of Grahava able to move up into the 3rd place spot. Moreau got loose off 2, nearly made contact, and now he falls into the clutches of Jeff Chandler, while Grahava is up to the 3rd place spot. This has been a great run for Grahava despite the issues he had earlier on in the race. This 12 is recovering just fine.
Yeah, he's definitely not giving anybody any room either, for sure. He's putting those elbows out as he comes through the field, for sure. Not taking any prisoners. So he may be a little fired up from that issue early on. Not sure, but it's working out for him. He's headed towards the front now, running in 3rd place. And here comes another guy who I think on the long run is starting to show his long run speed now. The 31 of Jeff Chandler moves up into 4th place. Starting to see him inch towards the front. It might be go time for this guy.
Yeah, very well might be go time for him. And honestly, he is just as fast as Ben Tracy, who's running up in the 2nd place position there, 2 3/4 of a second back from Nathan Bigart. Looking up at the lap times, Bigart ran a .181. Tracy was a .383. Grahava with a .209. So you could see that Fuego Autosport driver has equally almost as much speed as his teammate Nathan Bigart. And Jeff Chandler ran a 3.95. Moreau ran a 36.087. So the top 5 pretty close. But Nicholas Moreau, though, here, Brody, starting to fall off big time on the long run. Not really too used to seeing the 77 fall off like this on long runs.
Yeah, a little surprised, to be honest with you. I thought he would hang a little bit better, but looks like he's starting to fall back a little bit. And honestly, it looks like maybe a setup issue across the board for those Murrow Motorsports guys, because the 99's doing the same thing. He's loose off the corner. You see him kind of wiggle off the corner. You see the you see the damage to the front of the 19, the right front of the 19, kind of wrinkled up there. I'm sure it's not helping his aerodynamics, but he's starting to inch his way to the front as well. Clearly has a good long run car. Probably not as good as it was, but now he's starting to inch towards the top 5. So definitely starting to see some of these guys who worked on a long run setup starting to pay dividends here as we get into this race.
And you can clearly see that right front damage to the number 19 of Richie Coy, but it is not hindering him at all. He is driving like a bat out of hell, going through 3 and 4, almost washes up the track into the 77, or rather the 99 there, of Danny LaFleur, coming off turns 3 and 4, nearly making contact. Moreau brushes the wall up ahead of him, but they keep it going, and Richie Coy, despite that damage, he is fast right now.
And he is, and catching the 2 Moreau Motorsports guys. Yeah, Nick's definitely having some issues with handling, and the 99 is as well. And now you're going to have these guys trying to settle things between them. So you got to, yeah, there you go. You kind of picking. It looks like Nick's really off the pace now. I wonder if he hit it pretty hard there in turn 4.
Yeah, and he falls back 2 spots, could even lose 3 here, as Jonathan Bichon and James Wallace are right in tow behind him. But look at that run he got from running that high side through 3 and 4. But obviously it's not the preferred groove here, but we did see it work in yesterday's Cup race. So something to keep note of towards the end of this race. If you have to go up there and use that momentum. You see Richie Coy, though, still working to the bottom of Daniel LaFleur. These guys have been battling now for the last 3 laps here, as we're coming to 59 laps to go. This time by, Coy finally maybe going to clear the 99, and he does.
Yeah, that's for 5th spot. So Coy's back up into the top 5. So he's fought back up to within striking distance now, especially if the caution goes out. So, and honestly, there's a pretty good gap in front of him, about 2 seconds to Jeff Chandler in the 31, which those guys are now teammates. So, yeah, I mean, he's got himself back into contention, back into I guess a little bit of striking distance. We'll see if he can, if he can inch up on Chandler. But now he can take a little bit of a breath and see now if he's able to do anything with. As a matter of fact, Chandler's starting to inch up on the 12 of Gravala. So looks like Chandler's got a really, really fast long run car.
And that's the thing, too, is I know that Doyle Lawrence has usually always pointed out to us in the YouTube chats when it comes to Jeff Chandler running up really well inside the top 5, is that 31 usually always has good long-run speed, but we've never really been able to see him execute it. It's been very few times that we have. Do you think, Brody, with the way that this race has gone, if he were to leapfrog these guys, could we see this 31 pull a great strategy move and with that long-run speed maybe beat this 01?
Yeah, what's the gap? Let's look at the gap. So the gap to Jeff Chandler is a little over 7 seconds. That's a pretty big margin to make up. Now you could do that on new tires, but the problem is you would put yourself at such a disadvantage on tires that you'd have to kind of hang on at the end. If he's better on the long run, though, there's an opportunity and a possibility you could do something like that for sure. I mean, listen. These guys, and you see the 15 and the 14 all on pit road, you're starting to see some pit stops. These guys are pretty smart when it comes to this pit strategy stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these guys try to pull something over on some of these guys.
And this definitely should be interesting, as it looks like green flag pit stops are starting to begin. The door is not, as I usually say, wide open off the hinges, but it sure as heck is going to get close to it pretty soon. With 2 drivers coming to pit road, it's only a matter of time before we see some drivers up inside the top 5, even the top 10, come down to the pit lane. You see the 67 of Wallace battling with LaFleur. They nearly make contact through 3 and 4, able to keep it straight. The 99 nearly brushes the wall off 4, and Wallace is going to have to tuck back in line here as they head to turn 1.
Yeah, down into turn 1. Again, the 99 struggling on exit there with grip. The 97 in front of him as well. But you see that 99 just wiggling off the corner, man. He just, every time I see that, I can feel that in the wheel. I know exactly what that feels like. You're on edge so much, trying to get the power down, trying to go straight, trying to be fast off the corner. One little slip is all it takes, though. And if that thing slips to the left and you try to catch it, you pull it to the right too much, you're right in the wall and your night's over. It's just, you're on a knife's edge in the car. When you see something like that, I just know how that feels, and it just makes me cringe.
Jamie Knopf just exited the pit lane, so he is taking his, what would be probably final stop of the night. Oh, no! Lane Allen looks like he probably overshot the pit entrance lane there. And remember, you cannot go on to that patch of concrete through turn 4. You have to use the access road that is given to the drivers down in the infield at the start of turn 3. And it looked like the 8 machine of Allen just honestly probably Brody overshot. It is not uncommon to see that on access lanes for pit roads like that.
They overcooked it, and that's one thing we really haven't talked about with green flag stops here. Could be really interesting. I mean, the entrance and the exit of pit road is really tricky, especially in these cars with this limited suspension they have. They're so stiff that you go into the corner and try to get down on that apron. It's dirty down there, plus the car, you've got old tires in the car that's so stiff. You could really see some mistakes being made if they try to make these green flag pit stops. We saw one there. He just kind of overcooked it. So that's another thing we're going to have to watch. Can these guys make a green flag pit stop without mistakes on entry and exit? That could be a big error if you can lose a lot of time on entry and exit if you do that wrong.
Allen and Johnson are both out of the pits this time by as they work on to lap 110. Here comes James Wallace. He's going to be heading down to the access road. This time, will he get down clean and green? He does, but Brody, you could see that stiff suspension you talk about. It wants to travel up out of that groove. And for the 67, it is a blessing in disguise for him, but he locks it down big time, entering the pit lane. Could be a speeding penalty. We'll have to see what the word is. Nicholas Moreau, one of the heavy hitters who dropped back a lot of positions, he's in as well in the 77 machine for Moreau Motorsports.
Yeah, start to see some of these guys start to think about making this early pit stop. It's going to put pressure on the guys up front to make that pit stop, to get it out of the way, because you don't want to lose too much time on new tires. But you also don't want to get caught by a caution. If these guys are pitting right now, if a caution comes out, they get strapped a lap down. That's pretty much their race, as you see. All right, there's the 99 of LaFleur in. So, again, these guys are starting to make that pit stop. I know some of these guys didn't have a great handling car, so I want to get in, get that, maybe make an adjustment, get those fresh tires, and see if they can make up time on the track.
And you see everybody now just working around the racetrack. Some drivers starting to come to the pit road. Some are still staying out. One driver who's probably coming to the pits probably pretty shortly, and as I say that he does, is Ben Tracy. He drops back from the 3rd or 4th spot, now down pit lane. This is one of those heavy hitters, and now that he is down to the pit lane, this is going to open the door up wide off the hinges for everybody in this top 5 to top 10, with Tracy coming into the pits being a heavy hitter. Now, I think the thing is, Brody, for a driver like Nathan Bigart, he's got over a 9-second gap, so he can afford to stay out just a little longer than most of the guys.
Not only that, he can also take his time getting on and off of pit road, knowing that there's not much pressure. Everybody else is going to try to be try to make up time on entry and exit. He needs just a smooth entry and a smooth exit. Doesn't need anything extravagant, just to kind of hang on to the lead. He just needs to have a good solid entry and exit. No mistakes, and he'll be in good shape. But everybody else, like I said, is going to be trying to make up time on these guys, trying to maximize their entry and exit, and that's where you could see some of the mistakes.
Sherwood Williford in as well in the 33 machine, one on your scoring pylon. Still yet to see most of the drivers in the top 10 pit these last few laps here as we work on lap 114. This time by, you look at the 2nd place driver, Joseph Grahava, and you see Dave Nestor right behind him, who's on way fresher tires in the 12 machine. You can just see the speed difference going through 1 and 2, and you're going to see it for sure here down into 3 and 4 with the 36's head of steam. 12 will let him by, but that 36 is a man on a mission with those fresher tires in the Wolfpack machine, one of those Fuego Autosport drivers.
of Dave Nestor getting around his teammate Joseph Grijalva, who will probably pit here pretty soon. And Brody, the thing that I wonder about, because we saw it on Wednesday, there's always the possibility of a late race caution.
Absolutely. You got the 06 in, you got the 20 of Bartel is in as well. Bartel, we haven't mentioned much tonight, but he's up in the top 10 right now. Yeah, you can always have something happen at the end of these races. Kind of shakes things up for sure. You never count that out. But things are kind of spread out now. So as soon as these guys are feeling kind of comfortable to be able to make their pit stop and get it out of the way. Again, we've seen Tracy out there for a number of laps. And those new tires are really going to pay off. And you see Jeff Chandler is now in the pits. So these guys are starting now to decide to make their pit stop. Looks like the 06 is off and away. Get a clean pit stop, just a clean entry and a clean exit. It's all he needs.
And you see the 06 of Daniel Simmons, who was probably one of the drivers to go out and compete with Nathan Bigart with that damage he had many laps ago.
There he is.
It might not be a race for him to win here tonight, but here comes the leader, Nathan Bigart. He is not going to wait for the 12, 19, 97, or 26 to pit. He's going to like to come this time, and his teammate Joseph Grijalva is going to come down to the pit road as well. Jeff Chandler is out and about off of pit road. Richie Coy will pick up the race lead about a little over a second and 3/4 over Jonathan Vachon in the 97. Matthew Vachon in the 26 machine right back behind them as well on third. He's a little about 10 1/4 seconds back. So green flag pit stop starting to wrap up here pretty shortly, and we're going to start to see a look at how this race could play out.
Yep, 4 tires for the 12. He's going to pull out, no issues. The 01's out as well, so it looks like these guys have done what they need to do, got their service, and come out. I'm interested to see where these guys come out in relation to somebody like a Jeff Chandler who pitted earlier. There's Jeff Chandler right there in the background as you see him come off the corner, and I think the 26 just smacked the wall hard off turn 2.
And he did. That was Matthew Vachon hard into the wall off turn number 4, or rather turn 2, I believe it was the 26. Hard up into the wall. Richie Coy has made his pit stop. He is out and away. And we're going to start to see the last 2 drivers of the Vachons. They're going to come down this time. Here comes Jonathan. That was the driver who just smacked the wall, actually, off turn 2. So Vachon with some heavy contact with that right front and right rear is going to be coming to the pit lane, and that's heavy damage.
Yeah, that's pretty big damage coming off the corner there. You could break a toe link. You could mess the steering up for sure. I'm sure his wheel's probably not straight after that hit, but they'll get to fixing that. We'll see if he can come back out here for sure. And these Cup cars, man, it seems like you can smack the wall like that and really do some damage. If you make contact with the front or the rear, usually it's not a big deal. They can usually fix that no problem. But if you smack the side of the car, you can definitely knock the steering out of line or break a toe link or bend something in the suspension. It really affects your night versus a front or rear impact.
Definitely, for sure. And Matthew Vachon continuing to stay out. Nathan Bigart is gaining about a second a lap on that 26 machine. I think what the 26 here, Brody, is hoping for is, like we talked about, that late race caution. He would love to catch that caution right when the 01 is getting up to him, because it could force everybody down pit road for the final time.
I need somebody would probably run long. And, at this point, you've made your bed, and you're just going to run as long as you can and hope for a caution. Even if you get passed by the leader, you still have better track position than you had. That's really all you can hope for at this point is some sort of a caution or, something to kind of change the race up for you, because at this point, where he was running, it's definitely worth the risk for sure. And we see the 24 back out on track, Jose Acosta, with a lot of damage.
The 01 of Nathan Bigart last time around ran the fastest lap of the race with a 33.730. So that 01 machine, even on those 4 fresh tires, is super, super fast right now. He's got about a little over 10 seconds, or rather 5 seconds, over Ben Tracy in the 35 machine, who will be running second once the green flag cycle is complete. Still waiting on Matthew Vachon to come to pit road. He's got a 3.5 second gap, and as I say that, this is where green flag pit stops will be completed. Matthew is up into the pits. And Nathan Bigart right there in the 01 is going to go right on by, and Nathan Bigart goes back to lead here in Gateway.
I'll tell you, one guy, I was looking at the rundown, one guy lost a lot of time on pit road or something happened, is the 12 of Gravala. Now running in 8th spot, was running in, I believe, 3rd spot when we came into pit road. And I know we've got some guys pitting right now. He'll be promoted to 7th right there. But yeah, I don't know if it's because he ran longer than some of these guys or something happened on pit road. If he took it extremely easy, not sure, but he's down to 7th. He was up in 3rd spot. Same thing with Jeff Chandler.
Yeah.
Jeff Chandler's at 8th as well. So maybe those guys just stayed out longer, just gave up a little time on new tires.
I think it definitely hurt him, but obviously you got to execute entrance and exit of pit road here with those access lanes. That's what makes pit road a little bit more unique and important compared to most racetracks where usually you just hop off the banking down to the pit entrance, like at Kansas, Las Vegas, Talladega, Daytona, or whatnot. This is a little different. So, you could gain some time, you could lose some time on those access lanes, both entrance and exit. And now with this, Nathan Bigart in the lead, 6.5 seconds of a gap from Ben Tracy. Ben was faster than him by about 0.2 of a second last time around. But obviously this is going to be a big stretch if Ben Tracy can obviously catch this 01 machine. There is the Tracy machine through 1 and 2. Brody definitely going to need a caution, I believe, if they're going to want to catch that 01. He's been so fast all month.
Yeah, he's got, 35 laps to go in the race. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to make that up in 35 laps for sure. He may have a little bit faster car, but he also pitted, I think, a little bit earlier than the 01 of Bigger as well. So he's going to have to overcome a tire difference as well. I think right now what he needs to do is kind of settle in, make sure he gets a little bit of a gap to the 99 LaFleur. We saw LaFleur and Moreau both kind of struggle in the longer runs. So as long as he keeps a gap to these guys right here that we're looking at, he could have a good solid second place finish. I don't know that he's going to be able to catch the 01 and Bigger. And again, we're saying all this, imagining that there's not going to be some sort of a caution or something into this race to mix it up. There's always that opportunity that something could happen and completely change everything everybody's thinking about right at this point. But all you can do right now is plan for what is happening in the present. And again, got a great run going. The 35 of Tracy just needs to focus on, hitting his mark, running good solid laps, and maintaining that gap behind, and he'll have a good finish.
Couldn't have said it any better. And one driver who I'm keeping my eye on is in that 12th spot, up 11 spots. Remember Brian Dublé? That car was destroyed about halfway through this race, and now he has found himself up inside the top 15 in that 12th spot. That's Brian Dublé, the 37, the pink and black or purple and black machine that he always runs on a continuous basis. Great recovery for him. Josh Johnson up inside the top 15 as well in that 13th spot. And the one driver who probably you could say has had a heartbreak tonight as well is Randy Belk. He's back in 15th, -5 from where he started. Remember, he was up at the front, Brody, running inside the top 5, almost battling for the lead, took those 2 tires. It just didn't work out for him. And then with the green flag cycle, not catching a caution, it has resulted in him falling all the way back right on the edge of the top 15.
Yeah, he actually stayed out, so he's got an extra set of tires. I'm not sure it's going to do him any good. You have an extra set of tires sitting in the pits at the end of the race. They're not going to help you all that much, unfortunately. But hey, it was worth a shot. I mean, listen, I always like somebody that'll take a chance. I've always been kind of one to take a chance myself, whether it be a 2-stop race versus a 1-stop race. Those kind of things. You got to try something. Listen, if you're running in the top 5 and your goal is to win, you've got to do something different than the leader. So I applaud him for trying something. Unfortunately, it's kind of bit him tonight. He's running now in the 15th spot. But again, it was worth a shot. It just didn't work out the way he kind of wanted. But unfortunately, you take those chances. It could have went the other way easily for him. But man, you look at these guys, man. You look at the scrapes on the side of the wall coming off turn 2. And I guarantee you a lot of those are blue from those Moreau Motorsports cars because they are having an issue off turn 2 for sure. A lot of scrapes off turn 2.
Yeah, they've been super loose all night long, really, from the start of the race all the way up until now. I mean, it looks like they're a little bit better handling But those two cars have been kind of just staying where they're at all race long. Danny's made up a lot of spots. Nick started up inside the top 3, and he's still in the top 5. Don't get me wrong. This is great runs for them. But definitely with the winning mentality, especially for Nicholas Moreau on a weekly basis from what we've seen out of him in the FTSR, very, very unlikely that usually he would come out here and not be the leader. But obviously people adapt. You talked about it, Brody. The car changes, the track changes, the drivers changes. It's been pretty much almost an entire year since the 77 has been back in the Cup Series, and now that he's back here, he's got a little bit more competition to deal with than what he left with.
You know, we talk a lot about the competition level, and man, it's you see them get so close off too. It's so funny. But yeah, you talk about the competition level. We've talked a lot about that behind closed doors as well, about how tough it is out here, how tough it is to honestly even finish top 5, top 10. The competition level's that high, and you know, you're seeing it. You see some guys come back that were dominant before him. Well, now they're just top 5 finishers, and I say that because you know he'll get his stuff straight. I think they just got back into sim racing, so we got to give them a little bit of a break, get acclimated back to the sim racing scene, and I'm sure they'll find their stride. Before you know it, they'll be up front battling the 01 for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, it's just a testament to the competition level here for sure. And so I think anytime you can finish top 5 here, you've really done something.
For sure, and you see all 4 of these cards under a blanket from LaFleur back to Joseph Grajava. There are 3rd, back through 6th. Great little battle going on between these guys. Here comes Joseph Grajava. He's on the freshest tires out of these guys up in the front, and him and Wallace nearly made contact there off turn number 2, but Grajava trying to finish up inside the top 3 like his teammate Nathan Bigart has been all night long.
Yeah, he's chasing his teammate all the time, all night, for sure. And I can tell you, from having a fast teammate like that, it puts a lot of pressure on other drivers to perform. You know, you've got the same stuff, you just have to drive it to that level. Not everybody drives the same though, so even with the same setup, sometimes there's some differences, but it definitely puts some pressure on you to perform. And I think that's what we're seeing out of the 12 as well. Is he's tired of following the 01 and not reaping the rewards. So he's definitely coming towards the front here as he puts some pressure on the 77 of Moreau.
25 laps to go here, coming down at the line. Nathan Bigart still leading by over 7.5 seconds. We're going to take our last break for the evening, and we'll bring you all the way to the checkered flag. Don't go anywhere. This is LSRTV's coverage of the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series from Gateway.
Drag race to the line!
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, approaching 20 laps to go. And look who have found each other. We just mentioned it under the break when we were away from you folks at home, and the 24 is going to make it hard to probably get around him right now for this 12. Remember, the 24 with a fast car, and they're going to make contact right there. Joseph Grajava tried to get to the inside, but the 24 of Jose Acosta did not budge at all. He holds that position, and I'm sure, Brody, from that contact many laps ago, that 12's got to be worried. If he gets side by side with that 24, that something might happen.
Yeah, they got together earlier, and I was watching the 24 come up on him on new tires, and I'm thinking this might get a little interesting here. Now the 24's up here. I won't say he's in the way, but he's a little bit faster than 12 right now. So it looks like he just went by him and trying to go on. But I don't know. We probably need to keep an eye on these two, because that's immovable object meets unstoppable force there with the 24 and the 12.
Yeah, 20 laps to go this time by at the line. You see the 12 of Grajava nearly put the bumper to the 24 entering 3 and 4. There is the 14 machine all the way up at the top of the racetrack there, kind of starting to fall back. That's Rob Tracy, who's more than 2 laps down. As you see, right back behind Grajava is Nick Moreau working underneath the 14 machine. He's got James Wallace all over his bumper. In fact, Wallace gave him a shot exiting turn 2. He's looking for a spot here down the back.
Yeah, Wallace starting to get by some of these guys as well. I'm just waiting for this to bowl over right in front of me. But yeah, Wallace is doing a great job. He's currently in 6th place, trying to get around the 77 of Moreau as well back there. And then you've got Chandler on his back bumper, and then Simmons starting to rebound in 8th place as well. So Simmons able to make a run back up to the top 10. Oh, and you see the 77 Moreau go way high, and I'm not sure if that's after some assistance or if he just missed the corner there.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a little bit of assistance from the 67 machine. Debatable. But to the inside, here comes James Wallace for position. This is going on for the 5th spot. And look right back behind him. It's a gaggle of cars under a blanket. Jeff Chandler trying to maybe split the middle. James Wallace gets held down to the bottom. And the 31 of Jeff Chandler now right behind the 77 of Moreau, while the 06 of Simmons and Richie Coy now all under a blanket at it too.
Well, it's getting hot and heavy right here. And you saw the 67 jump sideways off turn 4. I don't know how he hung on to that. He lost some positions, but I do not know how he hung on to the car there without it snapping to the right. Did a great job of saving it. Unfortunately, it cost him a couple positions here. Now you got Chandler that's clear, trying to chase down Gravala in the 12, who is up there still behind the 99 of LaFleur and the 24 of the lap car of Jose Gravala. I mean, sorry, Jose Acosta.
I think comeback of the night so far, though, Brody, has got to be this 06 of Daniel Simmons. We know how fast he is, and as I say that, nearly hit the wall. The 77 of Moreau almost hit the wall with how loose it is off turn number 2. But this 06 has been through so much tonight, obviously. He was basically almost trapped the lap down. Remember, he was running second right behind Big Art when coming off turn 2. Kyle Milliken snapped loose right in front of the leaders. Big Art quickly able to avoid him. The 06 and Daniel Simmons did not see him. Ran right in to the right door of the 42. Gave him some nose damage. But this 06 machine, ever since then, has slowly but surely been making his way up. He could get a top 5 out of this here tonight.
Absolutely, and it is go time. These guys are laying it all out on the line. You saw the 06 and the 19 both maybe touch the wall off the corner there, trying to get everything they can out of the car. The 31 of Chandler in front of them, trying to get up there to the 12 of. You see somebody spun off the corner. That's the 24. I think things may have bowled over finally there off turn 4.
Oh boy. We are going to have to take a look at the replay because the 24 may have had some help, maybe not. We're going to find out and see, but the WolfpackCrew.com machine has gone around, and this is half a lap prior. And the 12 machine right behind the 24. And down into the corner, the 12 machine down on the bottom side. Just kind of slides right. He just kind of slid right up. Might have thought he was clear. Might have had a little bit of frustration. And around goes the 24 machine, Brody. And we talked about late race cautions, and now we have one.
You've got it. And this is going to mix everything up here for sure. We're going to look at another angle of this between the 24 and the 12. Of course, the 24 being a lap car, I'm sure the 12 is his frustration just over and over. Everything's good here. Everything's, giving each other room. Everything. I don't know. 24 gets a little tight there. I think he lifts there. and that causes
did.
the 12 to get into him.
Yeah, he definitely lifted. Charles, I want to see real quickly if we could take a look back at that replay again from that angle. And it looked like, Brody, right there, the 24 did lift, because you're going to see going into 3 and 4, the 12 is going to go to the bottom. He knows he has an opportunity. He knows he has to get by him. He starts washing up the track right about here, but he gives the 24 enough room. Then right here, the 24 just lifts, gets out. I don't think he was going to hit the wall. It's really close to say. But ultimately, he goes around, and that brings out the caution with just 15 to 14 laps to go. And with that being said, pit stops have happened. No surprise, Nathan Bigart gets out and away, but I believe he might have taken 2 tires there, Brody.
He may have, for sure. It was a little close off pit road as well. It looks like somebody almost got run in the wall off of pit road. But, yeah, 2 tires. I mean, we saw that work. I don't think you wanted to get bit by it again. Remember, he got bit by 2 tires at Dover last time we were together, and Richie Coy was able to steal one away from him. So I think he said, I do not want to have that happen again here. But we still got 13 laps to go here. That's a long way to go. Oh.
So we're hearing that he did take 4 tires. Daniel Simmons took 2. Wow. So Daniel Simmons is going to be the first car, it looks like, on 2 tires here. But I think right here, Brody, it's going to be really tough to get past this 01. We know the 12 is fast. The caution's out. Now you have 2 teammates lined up together, but everybody behind him is going to be scrambling.
I think the 12 took 2. Yeah, he got up to second place. I'm pretty sure he had to take 2 to get up to second place. Although I don't know, he was close to the 77 when he came out. He may have took 4 as well, but yeah, it was close on pit road for sure. We'll see. Again, things are going to heat up here at the end for sure. Things are going to get a little exciting. Everybody that's hung on so far in this broadcast is probably about to get a little more exciting, and things are going to happen.
Things are definitely going to happen indeed. Nathan Bigart will be the leader when we get back going green, which will probably get the 1 to go signal this time by, which means we will restart with 10 laps to go. And if you're just joining us for the first time here tonight on LSRTV, Jason Rockefeller, Brody Hanna, and Charles Wooten up here in the broadcast booth with you here tonight. Round number 2 of the 2024 B schedule for the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series has definitely been an eventful one, but it's really been all Nathan Bigart up at the front. He's had no real challenger besides Daniel Simmons, who was wrecked at one point but has now come back into the 3rd spot, but he's going to be on 2 tires, so it's going to be hard to try and beat out the 01 machine. But here we go. Pace car lights are off. 1 to go signal has been given. Brody, I feel like it's really hard to not pick the 01 machine of Nathan Bigart, because he has just been so fast all night long, and he's just practically dominated this race.
The Owen's definitely in the catbird seat here. Just get a good solid restart. It's a teammate to the outside. Should be easy pickings for him. The one I'm interested about is the 12 of Gravala. To see if he can hang on to second here. You got the 06 of Simmons back up there on 2 tires. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but the 99's been fast on new tires. You've got the 31 of Chandler, the 48 of Knopf up there as well. We'll see if he can hang on here. It's going to be a dogfight to the end, and we're going to have a 10-lap shootout. This should be a lot of fun.
10-lap shootout to the end. If you joined us on Wednesday night, we had 1 attempt at a green-white checkered after a caution came out right as the drivers were obtaining the white flag. Will we see that tonight? We're going to have to find out. 10 laps to settle it here from Gateway. Nathan Bigart and teammate Joseph Grajava lead him back to the restart zone, and the 12 does not go, and the 01 of Bigart is shot out of a cannon, and Daniel Simmons has an opportunity into 1, but the 12 of Grajava will hold tough up on the top side. Contact made out of 2.
Boy, they are close coming off 2 for sure. Everybody jockeying for position behind them, but side by side, the 06 and the 12 going into turn 3. Far second place, the 06 dives down into the corner, gets a little loose, starts to slide up a little bit, a little slight contact there through 3 and 4 on the door. Nothing going on here, but 3 and 4, they're going to come out of the 3 and 4 side by side, the 06 and the 12. 12's going to have an advantage going into 1.
Nathan Bigard has checked out on the field. He has packed his bags and set sail for the checkered flag. He now has a second over his teammate as Daniel LaFleur brushes the wall down the back straightaway out of 2. Grajava has about 3/10 over Simmons, and Richie Coy, Jamie Knopp, and others, they all battle now going through 3 and 4, and Knopp now sliding up the racetrack a bit.
Yeah, side by side with the 19 and the 48, coming off of 4. Everybody jockeying for position, shuffling around there behind him. It's going to be the 19 of Coy. He has the advantage going into 1. And contact with the 48. The 48 into the 19 again into turn 1.
Oh my goodness, no caution, but talk about deja vu for Richie Coy. The same thing happens to him again, like it did at the beginning of the race with Grajava and Acosta, and Richie Coy now dropping back throughout the top 10, now outside of it, as the 57 of Josh Johnson has gone by, and the 33 of Sherwood Williford trying to get a lap back. But it's still 7 laps remaining here in Gateway. It's a 2nd and 3/4 from Bigart back to Grajava. Still the opportunity for a late race caution. Does anybody have anything left for the 01?
Yeah, the 01's 1.7 seconds out, so he's definitely set sail here. The battle is going to be for second place. The 06 starting to put pressure on the 12 of Gravala if he can hang on here. Have his best finish of the night. But you see the 06 get loose there. You see the 12 pulling down to break the draft down the front stretch. These guys are doing everything they can here to hang on.
And this has been an insane race for sure here tonight from Gateway, as we're just having 6 laps to go remaining here tonight for round 2 of 2024B. For the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, it's Bigard, Grajava, Simmons right now, your top 3 up on the podium. And it has been a clinic put on by Nathan Bigard here tonight from the pole, and he has practically led almost every lap tonight, besides a couple cautions, also some green flag pit stops. I mean, talk about leaving right where you left off from last season, Brody, because that's practically what he's done.
Yeah, he's been in the catbird seat all night, though. Other than that one green flag stop, he's been out front in clean air, and I think that's a major factor here for sure. I mean, he's pulled out a pretty big gap here, on his teammate again. But, I mean, clean air, starting up front is really important. He's had the speed all night, just kind of stayed out of trouble, ran his own race, not really had to deal with traffic all that much. And sometimes that's all you need is just a little bit of time, a little bit of clean air. He's definitely got a fast car, definitely can wheel the car, but a lot of factors here that could, we had that late race restart. He was able to have a great restart, and it's now just set sail.
3 laps to go, this time by the line for Nathan Bigard. The gap now over 2 seconds, and that's pretty much how it's been all night long. The gap has just been growing and growing all night long for the 01. No matter what kind of run it is, short or long run, he has put on a clinic here tonight from Gateway. We mentioned the top 3 beforehand. LaFleur, Moreau, your top 5. Then Bartel, Wallace, Chandler, Dublé, and Josh Johnson, your top 10. Great recovery for Brian Dublé tonight in that 9th position after having some contact, but still the battle is not done. 2 laps to go this time by. Everybody fighting for every position on the racetrack.
The 99 probably smells blood here with those old tires on the 06. He sees them struggling, trying to get up there, but the 99's not had the greatest handling car either. So, and the 77 of Moreau's looking to maybe get a position on his teammate as well. So all these guys packed up here trying to get you see the 99 in the wall again. Those guys have struggled off turn 2.
Well, compared to Wednesday night in the Truck Series where we had a green-white checkered attempt, that is not going to happen tonight. Off turn number 4, white flag is out, 1 lap to go, presented by CRN, as Nathan Bigard sees the white flag for the final time. Last lap around here at Gateway. And the 01 has been so strong all night long. Might have not gotten the victory last week, but obviously he was here tonight when it mattered the most. Started on the pole, and he's practically led almost every lap. Started off here tonight at Gateway, right where he left off last season with a title. He'll come home P1 tonight.
And Nathan Bigard is going to win the Gateway 200 from the pole. Joseph Grajava, his teammate from Fuego Autosport, will finish second. And Daniel Simmons, with a great comeback, will finish on the podium in the top 3. Brody, not much more you could say about just pure dominance by this 01 tonight.
Yeah, the 01 did a great job for sure. The rebound for the 06, I think, is just the story of the night. Manny's had issues all night, and then he comes back to finish third. That has to be a win for him after the issues off turn 2 there. And so great job for him for sure. And yeah, just a solid race. The 01 just dominated tonight, and nobody really had an answer for him. So well, there's nothing much else to say.
Nothing more else to say besides maybe Mr. Big Art, next time don't hit the inside and the outside wall with the rear end while doing burnouts. I know Mr. Jeremy Stanley is a big no-no guy to point that out whenever you do hit it, so we'll have to maybe tell him that during post-race. But let's take a look here at the unofficial race results presented by LiveSimRacingTV.com here. And Nathan Bigard obviously takes home the victory, first win of 2024B. Joseph Grajava comes home P2, his teammate, Fuego Autosport. Daniel Simmons, again, great comeback there in third. LaFleur, Moreau, Bartel, James Wallace, Jeff Chandler, Brian Dublé, and Josh Johnson round out the top 10 with great comebacks tonight for those two.
Yeah, it's a great comeback for Bartel as well. As one guy we didn't mention much all night, showed up in the top 10. 11th place, heartbreak again for Richie Coy in the 19 after getting involved there. The 48 of Jamie Knopf finishes 12th. The 26, Matthew Vacan, finishes 13th. 14th place, good run for the 6 of James Torrey. 15th is going to be Sherwood Williford. 16th, the 36 of Dave Nestor. 17th is going to be the 15 of Jake Orler. In 18th spots, you're going to find Ben Tracy in the 35 machine. 19th is the 7 of Wayne Grassi. And in 20th, rounding out your top 20, is the 14 of Robert Tracy.
Rest of your 31 car rundown: Allen, Randy Belk, John Ross, Jonathan Vachon, Jose Acosta, Solari, Crowell, Hedrick, Milliken, Blackner. And rounding out the field in 31st, you will find the 51 of Bill Hall. We're going to step away real quick, grab our top 3 for the podium. We'll speak to him here in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the conclusion of the Gateway 200. Post-race interview is going to begin here in just a moment with the top 3 with me and Mr. Brody Hanna. And we'll step aside to the third-place driver, Daniel Simmons. Man, I'm just going to say one thing, man. I feel really bad for you there because coming off turn 2, I don't know what happened. I don't know if you didn't see him or what, but take us through that moment. But also, great comeback for you guys as well in that 06 tonight.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't think I could buy good luck even if it was for sale. But no, Kyle was just sitting there kind of in the middle of the track, and I saw Nate. I thought he was going to go high because I wasn't sure if he was rolling down the racetrack or not. So when Nate pulled low at the last minute right there, there was still a gap up top. So I was just going to kind of shoot around him on the outside, and he throttled up. I didn't have enough time to get it pulled back down, but. Oh, one of them things. I mean, it turned out better than I thought it was going to there at the end, so can't complain too much.
Yeah, Daniel, that was a great rebound for sure. Heartbreak, we were watching that, and I was just like, man, it took all race to get back up the front. I guess my question is, how do you kind of keep yourself calm in those situations? Because I know, you're running up front, you have a good run. I think you were in second spot at the time. And then all of a sudden something like that happens out of your control. How do you keep your calm, keep your wits about you, and say, okay, we've got a whole race to come back on this, and actually not only to get your mindset right, but to actually pull it off and to be able to come back to a third place finish?
I mean, it was probably a good thing I wasn't mic'd up. But nah, I mean, you just kind of get it all at your system right there up under caution and put your head down and kind of get back at it. But I knew it was going to be tough, man. 30 air at this place. I mean, you would think this track being kind of short as it is, it wouldn't affect you that much. But, I mean, it was terrible. I knew once that happened, I wasn't going to have anything for Nate. I mean, me and him was kind of running about the same speed right there. I felt like I made some adjustments on mine, helped it on the long run, which I felt like that's kind of where I was lacking at for that first stage. But sucks, didn't get to try it. But congratulations to Nate, man. He had it all put together tonight for sure.
With that being said, obviously, who do you got to thank for this awesome third place rebound here tonight from Gateway?
Got to thank Rob, Ben Tracy, Jamie Knopf for putting in hours and, you know, testing together and all that stuff. Team Connie for the amazing setups. And hopefully one day we can find some luck for sale somewhere and get one of these things.
Well, we hope so for sure. That's Daniel Simmons coming home P3 for LA Motorsports in the 06 machine. And now we'll step aside to the man who had an incident earlier in the race, but somehow, some way, found his way back up at the front. Joseph Rojava, man, what a run for you and your teammate tonight.
Yes, sir. 1-2 for Fuego Autosports. Very happy with the team today, but got to give big props to Nate, who basically taught me how to drive the track. It was great, and coaching me throughout the race there. So this is his first and second as it is mine. So big shout out to him. But yeah, man, it was up and down. I'm glad we could pull off a 1-2.
Joseph, we saw some interaction between you and the 24 earlier in the race. You know, you guys kind of got in an accident early on, and then there towards the end, that was that caution with the 24 spinning off turn 4. Was that what was the mindset? What was going on right there with it looks like 24 maybe had a little fresher tires, but he was left down and kind of in the way there.
So the first incident I had, I think I got loose off too, or I think I touched Chandler is what it was. I was trying to keep off him, so I shot down to the wall, and I was going to drift back up to get back in the line, but I didn't realize the 24 and the 19 were side by side. The spotter called 3 wide as I was hitting them, so that is my fault. But when someone comes up to you and cons and starts talking all kinds of smack, I mean, I'm not want to take it. I'm sorry if it's wrong or right. I didn't curse nobody out or nothing, but you know, I was going to apologize. And then, you know, frustrations, especially mid-race. It's something you talk about after the race. And then with Nate having such a big gap at the end of the race, the last thing I want to do is wreck somebody and cause a caution. That's not smart. You know what I'm saying? To me, it looked like he checked up, or maybe he got loose, or I don't know. But I mean, every other lap he was on it off 4, and all of a sudden this time he's not. So I don't know if he's probably upset also, or I don't know what happened. I'm not going to speculate. To me, it looked like he maybe lifted. I'm not sure.
Joseph, despite all the controversy tonight, man, you come home P2. With that being said, who do you got to thank for the awesome run for Fuego Autosports here tonight?
Yes, sir. So like I mentioned, big props to my teammate Nate. He's so fast, and I'm glad to have him on my team. He's coaching us here and there and making us fast also. So thank you, Nate. You guys as well for putting the show on. Another top 3 with LSRTV and this whole group, man. This group is so hard to even get in the top 10. Once you crack it, I mean, it's like pulling teeth. So thank you to the drivers for making everybody faster. And of course, car sponsor BKA El Paso Motorsports Kart Racing Club. Hit them up on Facebook. Just give them a like. That's my background is karting, road racing on a flat surface is where I come from, and that group's growing. So please give them a like. Facebook doesn't hurt. Need for Speed Automotive, a repair shop here down in El Paso. Hit them up if you're ever down this way. And if you guys want to get into karting anywhere across the United States, TandaRacing.com is the Praga kart supplier for the whole country. Check them out on the website. The guy's name is Trey. He's super helpful, kind, very knowledgeable. If you guys want to get into some entry-level racing, relatively cheap, all things considered. So hit them up there. But thank you to everybody here.
And that's Joseph Grahava coming home P2 tonight from Gateway. And now we'll step over to Victory Lane, presented by Victory Fuel, reminding you that you could use code KOI19 and also FTSR at checkout for 10% off your order at drinkvictory.com. Nate Bigart, no stranger to Victory Lane, my friend. You and the Fuego Autosport boys, exceptional job tonight, man. Pure dominance.
Yeah, it was probably a great, full race, like to bring it all together, no mistakes, just having a lot of luck also, to win these races. You got to be fast and you got to be lucky. I would say there was definitely a big moment with Kyle, on the backstretch, and he was dancing with us. He started backing up, so I was gonna go up to the wall around him. Then he started going forward, and I had to turn down left at the last second. And man, it really messed up Dan. And it sucked because he was going to be a battle for the whole race for sure. He had the speed, and I think on the long run it would have been fun to battle it out. But yeah, a little bit of luck came our way, and definitely had speed in the car. Did not want to see a caution at the end. That killed me. It just deflated me. I'm glad to get the win at the end, and be able to pull away again with some fast laps at the end. But just not something I wanted to see.
Nate, these races are getting kind of nail-biter there at the end. This is the second race. Well, I go back to Dover, and again, we were speculating you may have taken two tires there at the end because we've seen these races play out the end a little bit different. Some of these guys take two tires and jump you, and it not work out. But luckily, everybody decided to kind of take four tires. Man, you talk about being on edge at the end. Tell me again when that. I know because I've been there, but when that caution comes out and you've got like a 10-lap shootout, how nerve-wracking is it on these restarts to get through the gears right, get through turn one clean? You did have a teammate there, but kind of walk us through the mindset on one of those restarts where you've got to kind of make hay while the sun shines because you've only got 10 laps.
Oh man, it's the highest the nerves can get for sure because you have to be perfect, The guys around you are all good racers, and somebody's gonna nail it, probably better than you are. And it adds even more where, in FTSR, we all go on green. As the leader, I have no advantage. We're all going at the exact same time. So you better be perfect. You better nail the shifting down the stretch, hit the corner perfect, and try to get clear by the exit of the turn, turn two, and just hope the two behind you are side-by-side battling. And that is exactly what happened for me. Like I said, luck came into it. I hit it. I did my job, but I definitely had God on my side tonight, and I want to thank him.
That being said, who do you obviously got to thank for your first win of 2024B?
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to the league themselves, FTSR. Love racing with these guys. Another great long green flag run in this race, man. Like, you just don't see it. I ran some officials this week, and you just don't get this type of racing. Really enjoy running with these guys every single week. So that's a big shout out to the drivers as well, everyone involved here. Want to thank the broadcasts, LSRTV. Appreciate everything you guys do. I'm sure I stunk up the show a little bit tonight, but I'm sure there was a lot of great racing going on out there. I want to thank my the sponsors, and my team, Joe Grojava, Fuego Autosports, Fuego Paints, all the sponsors he's brought in to help us, my teammates, him, John Ross. John got in some damage early on, stuck out the whole race with us just to help us out, get some points, get some experience on the track. So shout out to him. Got to throw out a special thanks to my good buddy Jerry. Been helping me out a lot on the sim. Appreciate everything he does for me. And all the fans watching, number one fan, always watching out there. Love you, Mom.
Always got to thank Mom, as Nathan Bigart does, picking up his first win of 2024B here in Gateway. And Brody Hanna, it was a very interesting night. We saw some good racing. We saw some heartbreak and heartache moments. Maybe some rivalries for the future. Your take on tonight's race?
Yeah, it was a good race. I mean, we had short runs, we had long runs, we had controversy. We had a little bit of contact, a lot of door-to-door contact, with casual contact, and these guys, again, a testament, like Nate said, a testament to these guys for putting on a great show. They can make that little casual contact through the corner, and kind of keep going. No issues for sure. A lot of great racing, man. We highlighted a lot of great racing throughout the field. There may have not been much great racing at the front, for the lead, but definitely throughout the field, a lot of close side by side racing. And if you're looking to get into a league that promotes this good, clean racing, check us out at FTSR.net. But again, awesome show. Enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Show for sure, always being presented by the boys at FTSR, and that's going to conclude tonight's coverage from Gateway. For everybody at FTSR, Victory Fuel, and everybody at iRacing and LSRTV, for Brody Hanna, Charles Wooten, I'm Jason Rockville saying so long from St. Louis, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place here on LSRTV, where the drivers will take on the left and right hand turns in wine country at Sonoma.